During that first month, the playoffs, they didn't feel realistic at all. Clark, she struggled with turnovers, and the discourse, it was really centered around this just being an adjustment period. So coming out of college, expectations, they were sky high for Caitlin Clark and the Fever, which, by the way, was the last year of Hall of Famer and franchise icon Tamika Catching's career. So Caitlin, she continues to make history. She's the first rookie to win WNBA Player of the Month.
Did you know Caitlin Clark's arrival in the WNBA boosted ticket sales by 350% in some arenas? That's right. Before she even played her first professional game, teams were selling out venues that hadn't been full in years. What's even crazier is what happened behind the scenes.
Consistent. Yeah, he's been showing up. Third quarter was we're going to pick this one up, tied at 55. Clark hits the crossover. What?
When you're able to just dribble like that back, you gotta, that's just hard. It's hard. You gotta send more help.
By the way, since the awards inception in 2010 and last night, it was no exception. So the Fever, they were hosting the Sparks in this one. Of course, Tyrese Halliburton, Shanae pulling up to take in the action. Her 100th three-pointer through the season, 34 games, passing Ryan Howard for the fewest career games to reach 100 points. And then just a couple seconds later,
the WNBA wasn't ready for this explosion of interest, and some executives who couldn't adapt to this new era are now looking for new jobs. The Clark effect didn't just change the game, it's changing who runs it. You know those moments when everything changes in sports? That's exactly what happened when Caitlin Clark stepped into the WNBA, and the league wasn't ready for it. When Clark was drafted #1 by the Indiana Fever, nobody expected what would happen next. Teams that used to have empty seats suddenly couldn't print tickets fast enough. The basketball world was witnessing something special, but the WNBA's front office was caught completely flat-footed. For years, the WNBA had been running things the same way. Small marketing budgets, limited TV coverage, and executives who were comfortable with the status quo. They weren't prepared for a sudden spotlight.
They have come out and they now have a list of all the teams thus far that has decided to move games because, well, Caitlin Clark's coming to town. And we got an article from Front Office Sports that covers, Front Office Sports is one of these sites where they cover the business aspect of sports, the money, revenue, yada, yada, yada. And it's a good resource. The scheduling is very interesting. There is a little reaction on that already. But let's take a look at this right here. 6 WNBA teams that moved games versus Caitlin Clark and the Fever to larger venues.
And what a spotlight it was. TV ratings for Clark's first game jumped over 200% compared to the previous season's opener. The Fever versus Sun game pulled in 2.1 million viewers, numbers the league hadn't seen in decades. This wasn't just a one-game wonder. Arenas that averaged 5,000 fans suddenly had 15,000 people fighting for tickets. Teams were scrambling to move games to bigger venues just to handle the demand. The New York Liberty had to relocate their game against the Fever to Barclays Center instead of their usual smaller venue. In Chicago, they opened additional seating sections that had been closed for years. But here's where things got really interesting. While fans were going crazy for Clark, the league's leadership was moving at a snail's pace. Marketing campaigns weren't adjusted. Social media strategies stayed the same. It was like they didn't realize what was happening right in front of them. The executives who couldn't adapt to this new reality started losing their jobs. The commissioner quietly replaced marketing directors who failed to capitalize on Clark's popularity.
Atlanta Dream moved 1 game to the State Farm Arena. Chicago Sky moved 2 games to the United Center. Home of the Bulls, home of the Blackhawks in Atlanta, by the way. That's the home of the Hawks. I did the Dallas Wings, and I did the Atlanta Dream, and I did the Chicago Sky. But let's just get a handle on what this looks like, okay? Connecticut Sun moved 1 game to TD Garden, home of the NBA Celtics. That's going to look really freaking cool on TV. I'm a Celtics fan, so that's going to look real cool.
One high-level executive who reportedly said, "This Clark thing is just temporary," was gone within weeks. Another who refused to increase the digital content budget was shown the door. Remember when Clark broke the rookie assist record in just her 15th game? The league's official account posted about it almost 6 hours after it happened. Meanwhile, Clark's personal Instagram post about it had already gotten over 1 million likes. That's when heads started to roll in the social media department. The league's social media team was completely overhauled after they missed huge opportunities during Clark's first month. Posts were late, content was weak, and engagement was dropping while Clark's personal accounts were exploding. The new team they brought in had experience working with major sports leagues and immediately started creating content that fans actually wanted to see. Behind closed doors, team owners were demanding changes. One owner reportedly said, "We have the biggest star in basketball right now and we're acting like it's business as usual." Another complained that the league was missing the biggest opportunity we've had in 20 years. The pressure was building and the commissioner had no choice but to make dramatic changes. Teams that embraced the Clark effect saw immediate results. The Indiana Fever's ticket sales increased by 400% compared to the previous season. Their merchandise revenue went through the roof, with Clark jerseys becoming the best-selling item in WNBA history. Other teams that quickly pivoted their marketing strategies around Clark's visits saw similar spikes. By mid-season, at least 5 high-level executives were replaced across the league, all because they couldn't handle the Clark effect. The new leadership brought fresh ideas and a willingness to capitalize on what was happening. They increased marketing budgets, improved broadcast deals, and created better fan experiences at games. The new executives understood something the old guard didn't, that Caitlin Clark wasn't just a rookie having a good season. She was a once-in-a-generation talent who could transform the entire league. The new head of marketing launched campaigns focused on the excitement of the game rather than just player profiles. The revamped digital team created content that went viral outside of traditional basketball circles. Even the broadcast presentation changed. Games featuring Clark now had additional cameras, enhanced graphics, and top announcing crews. The production value improved overnight because the new leadership understood what they had on their hands. This wasn't just about firing people. It was about the WNBA finally realizing what they had in Caitlin Clark. And that's just the beginning of how she changed everything. Teams started investing more in player development, knowing that creating more stars like Clark was the path forward. Front offices began hiring executives with experience in building individual player brands. Within months, the entire business model of the WNBA was shifting. Revenue projections were revised upward, expansion plans were accelerated, and all of this happened because one rookie showed up and exposed how unprepared the league was for real success. The Caitlin Clark effect goes way deeper than just filling arenas. She's literally reshaping how the WNBA operates behind the scenes. The league that once moved at a snail's pace is now sprinting to keep up with her impact. You know what's wild? This transformation is still in its early stages. The real test comes next. Will executives embrace this momentum or let it slip away? Some insiders worry old habits might return once the initial excitement fades. Next time you're watching a packed Fever game, remember that those cheering fans didn't just change the game day experience. They forced a complete overhaul of who makes the decisions upstairs. That's real power.